If I went independent, earning salary was £40,000 per annum. Never earned more than that. So to answer your question directly, what does work-life balance mean to me? Is having that understanding that I'm not what I do. I'm more a child of God sent here to support my family and love my wife. And for me, that is the genesis of everything.
I'm sure loads of fathers have probably missed their child's first steps or first words, or missed so much for their kids because they were providing the money that was allowing for their kids to live in a house.
And I discovered that pre-COVID and post-COVID, my income is 4 times more than pre-COVID. And that's just basic management. I mean, I've just taken a job as senior lecturer and program lead for one of the biggest universities in the United Kingdom. And one of the things that was discussed, they wanted to work me the same hours, 4 days. And I said, no, I'm not doing it for 4 days. I can do that job for 3 days. Why am I spending an extra day? Oh, that's what we do, but I'm not interested. They came back and had the negotiation with me, and we were able to sit down and say, okay, fine. Funny enough, one part I don't share with people is the first all money I got from doing security went into doing a master's program.
Wow.
And everybody was laughing at me at the time.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming. And thank you for honoring the invitation, Anjo. Thank you. So without taking much of our time, so I'm going to ask you a quick question, like an icebreaker. Okay, so if you are stranded on a desert and a desert island, and you could only bring 3 things, what would it be?
I might have to bring a boat.
3 things.
So I'll bring a boat.
Okay.
Let's get home.
Okay.
My journey home, I need a book to read, so I'll bring a book. I don't know what book. I'll bring a nice, long 700-page book. I'll get through it in the time it takes me to get home. And what else do I need, man? I need to eat, don't I?
Remember that you need to live there too.
I need to live there. I can't use my boat.
The word says you're stranded.
So I can't have a boat to go down stranded.
No, I'm saying it's up to you.
Okay.
You're stranded. You're trying to get out of the place.
Okay, so
and what would you rather have there?
I'll need a... So I was reading something recently that says that crowbars are very useful because you can hit stuff with a crowbar and you can open stuff with a crowbar. So I'd take a crowbar, I'd have my book, which I think is a waste of material now. But and then I have my boat so I can fix my boat with my crowbar and then I can read my book. I think I put too much thought into this.
Okay.
How about you, sir?
Well, I think obviously as a believer, I have a Bible concept.
Okay.
I'll obviously have
just like my wife.
Now, basically because I don't think I can ever exhaust reading the Bible, no matter how long I stay there. And more importantly, something practical. I need some. If you're going to survive on an island, you need something very, very practical to feed yourself. So the option of, I just love the fact that Anjo had something to crack a canal, because I can live on anything.
Okay.
So
remember you're in the desert.
Well, in the desert, So that's true. There's no water,
but desert is surrounded by water.
Yeah.
I use my physics. So I'll do the evaporation and then get the pure water.
Yeah, but I think what's important for me is I need to have my family around. If you give me a choice of
but we're not.
But it says
we're not things.
You're stranded.
You're stranded, and we're not things. We're people, so you can't bring people.
So you're stranded. Yeah, I think most importantly for me, I don't want to sound spiritual, but the Bible is quite important for me.
That's one.
Daily living. I need an instrument to be able to get through day-to-day feeding.
Okay, too.
And most probably something that helped me meditate. I don't know, because I do quite a lot of meditation.
Okay, so how are you going to get out of the
I don't actually. I'm quite a soulless person, so I don't.
So you don't plan to
If I don't have to leave, I don't have to leave. If I have to leave, I have to leave. Because I've always been like that.
Can I change one of my answers?
Yeah.
Can I
go
get
ahead.
one of the the solar satellite phones that connects to the closest satellite, so I can call someone for help? I think that would be useful.
That's a good one. You mean like back in the days it would be like a satellite phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, satellite phone.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So like an SOS kind
Yeah.
of come and help
A
you.
flare.
Yeah, that's good. Anyway, all our answers are unique to us, and it's very nice. Thank you very much for responding to that. So we'll take it further by, I'm sure people will be wondering, they didn't introduce people, and there's no better way than you to introduce yourself. So can you kindly introduce yourself? Then Andrew can go ahead and introduce himself, please.
Yeah, I'm Christopher Ademuwagun for quite a few people that know me. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and also quite a lot of people that come to Winners Chapel in the last 30 odd years will know me as a member of the Winners family.
Okay.
I've been professional background. I don't even know where to start, but I've done a few things in my short stay. Started off as an economist. Worked in civil service in this country for years.
That's good.
I worked in our people that have had children around North London or marriages will remember me for being. I was a registrar, then became president registrar for the London Borough of Enfield.
Okay.
A job I did for about 14 years before going straight back into academics again with University of Hertfordshire.
Okay.
And then retrained myself, and then basically I'm into the area of health, mental health specifically. I worked in forensic for years also on the side. So obviously I have a passion for education, and presently I'm now in this country what you call an approved mental health practitioner. So I manage a local authority mental health team. Like I said, I'm married and been married for 26 years, been known my girl for about 30 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, so that's me.
Thank you very much. How about you, Andrew?
So within those 30 years and 26 years that you've been alive and doing all these magical and wonderful stuff, I popped out of the womb. My name is Angela Lua, or Anjo, or Angela. If you're Nigerian, don't watch my accent. It's okay. I was born here. But grew up in North London when he was registering babies, and I decided that I was going to go down the healthcare route. So I'm currently a foundation year 1 doctor. Yeah, just newly graduated. I say newly graduated. I've been graduated for 6-7 months now. I'm out here saving lives. I'm not saving lives, but I'm a doctor. I used to play rugby. I was good at it. I guess some people would say I was good at it. I haven't had as much time to like flesh out and develop myself in so many different ways and go from economics to like registrar to approved mental health practitioner. But I'm hoping that I'm still young, so I have more than enough time to become a very well-rounded person.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir, for that introduction. Thank you. Andrew,
Also,
for that
I'm
introduction.
his son as well. I probably should have led with that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you for that. So, basically today we're going to have a conversation surrounded around work and life. So I call it work versus life, finding the right balance. So I'm sure it's a lot of like we had the conversation before we started. It's something that a lot of families will be finding challenging. And I, as someone that has been in the workspace for a very long time, and you, Anjo, as well, coming into the workspace, I believe that the things that you share will be a blessing to a lot of families. So one, your marriage is over 25 years, and plus work. And every time I'm always seeing you in Italy, as if maybe you should tell us that I have an Italian passport or something, we don't know, or the other. So how you're going to be able to do that? So to get the ball rolling. So what's your definition of work-life balance?
I think not being defined by what you do.
Okay.
I mean, like when you ask me, you want to introduce yourself, and 9 out of 10 times as a man, your first instinct is to say, "Oh my God, what do I do?" Even in that short introduction, you say how heavy my work life sounded in it. forgetting the fact that I never started working until, in this country, I didn't start working until 1999. So basically, obviously, I worked in Nigeria for a while. I worked in the petroleum but the first instinct, just the what God has given us as individuals, especially as men, is to define ourselves as hunter-gatherers, as a man, your function, what you do. So that's your first instinct to want to but that's not what really defines you. If you actually pause a bit, you discover that you didn't have to work until you start getting paid job. So the first half of my life, I'm in my mid-50s now.
That's good. Yeah, good.
So the first half of my life, I never worked. So why am I defining myself with what has happened to me?
When you say the first half of life, what was your first?
Before I was 25. If I worked, I was in university.
Okay.
I worked probably with my dad when I was younger. But my life wasn't defined as a worker. I was a family. I belong to a family. So that instinct to want to define ourselves is also driven with societal standard. And that's where this issue of work-life balance is skewed. So to answer your question directly, what does work-life balance mean to me is having that understanding that I'm not what I do. I'm more a child of God sent here to support my family and love my wife, and for me that is the genesis of everything. I'm a Christian, married to a very lovely woman, and have 2 very lovely sons. So whatever my work is to make that function effective.
Good.
So whatever I have to do to make those core function of my life okay is my idea of work-life balance.
Yeah.
So if what I do is taking me away from what God's my basic assignment, which is my family, there is a misbalance.
I get that. Thank you very much for that. So Anjo, just to help us, in your opinion or in your own way, your little time, do you think that having a balance with work and life is achievable?
I think,
and also mirroring from your father, because most times boys or children become what their parents are. So if your dad is a workaholic, maybe that's what you might know. If your dad was someone that balances up, that's what you might know. So having you here is going to give a perspective into his inner workings that he might never know about. You understand? So go ahead, please, help us now.
So I don't think I can speak for everyone in my generation, but I feel like a lot of people in my generation would say that work-life balance is the most important thing for them. Having a true understanding that I think a lot of us saw, well, not me, but like a lot of us saw our parents working and giving so much. Well, I guess I did as well, kind of give so much to a place that at times doesn't really care, or even doesn't care for them, or doesn't really give back to them. So since we've seen so much of that, it's come to the understanding of, yes, you need to work to survive, but sometimes the people that you're even working for don't even really care for you. So you need to also look out for yourself, and part of looking out for yourself is taking your time off, or maybe working part-time, or working hybrid, working from home. And I think it's very doable. And a lot of the times, like, there's been quite a lot of studies of people now asking for hybrid jobs. So asking to work from home, because that allows for them to spend more of their time at home. They can be more productive. They can do other stuff with their time. It cuts out the time that you're traveling to work.
To work, yeah.
So unfortunately for me, like at this moment in time, like I have to be in a hospital, so I can't really work from home. I can't Skype my patients.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. I think as a man, it can be hard at times, because you can see so many people in a quite a lot farther ahead, or not necessarily farther ahead, but they're doing things that you would like to do. They have a lot more money, so they can spread their money around more equally, or they can buy more stuff that they enjoy, but at the same time still enjoy their life. I think I'm very blessed to have a father that was around, and yes, he was working a lot. Like, he did work a lot, but I never felt like he was really missing for my life.
That's good.
But I feel like a lot of people, I can't say the same for a lot of the people around me, that they would say that their dad was up at 6, so before they were awake, their dad was gone. Their dad was coming back like an hour before they're sleeping. You're an 8-year-old, your bedtime's probably like 8
Or for
o'clock.
some too, their dad has come back when they've slept already.
Like sometimes, like I'm sure loads of fathers have probably missed their child's first steps or first words, or missed so much for their kids because they were providing the money that was allowing for their kids to live in a house. So at times, I think it's a very privileged conversation that we can have for work-life balance, especially here in the West, where a lot of support is given. But work-life balance is something that is very important, that I feel like everyone needs to be able to
find the right balance.
I think I want to give an example,
Please.
because I think it's important to like not make it too theoretical. And what you just said actually made me reflect. When you were young, I don't know if you remember yourself and Yano, my other son is not here now. And because my family was a focus of what I did, funny enough, I became a superintendent registrar in London Borough of Enfield, but I didn't go there as a superintendent registrar, if you remember. I started off as a security officer in that same office.
Wow.
You know, so when I joined the council in the registration service, my boys were young.
we used to always be there.
And I used to take them on Saturday because that's part of the arrangement. So I had to make money. I'd gone through University of London 2003 doing a master's. I started this job, but then I had to like do stuff. So my kids were babies. I mean, Samuel was born 2001. Yanu was born.
Now everyone knows how old I am.
And,
They can Google it.
2003.
and 2003.
Yeah.
So you can see in 2004,
Yeah.
that's when I started off in the registration service. They were babies. So on Saturday, though I was going to work, you know, I had to take them down and put them in the office with me, you know, when I go to do my marriages as a security officer securing the place. And in 2007, when I became a registrar, they had become part and parcel of the office setting. I mean, my first photo shoot for the registration service.
We still got the photos.
Wow,
You know,
that's good.
so
Yeah.
work was important, but bringing my family into my work, even the London Borough of Enfield at the time knew my family, knew my wife, they knew my children. I used them as part of the prop for what I do. You know, and I think that is important, where the center of your work, like I said at the beginning when I started this conversation, is work for me is a means to support my family.
Amazing. Yeah.
Not my family being sold out in order for me to work. And it also explained probably why I stayed in Enfield for such a long time, because my boy was playing rugby at the time. My other son was playing sports too. And that was the most convenient job that I could do. I was running an office where I could actually physically just run my life around there. The pay was, I mean, I look at it now, I think about how did I survive? The pay was so poor for a superintendent registrar, you know, but I stayed with it because I had to give. Then in the evenings, I had to do my extra job to augment, but I had to make sure that they were sleeping when I go out. I tell you what, if there's somebody that would have been lovely to be here today, was my wife. She endured 20 years of my working weekend evening on part-time basis. People never knew that. People never knew that I worked in this country as a mental health support worker for 20 years in the evenings when I was working during the day 9 to 5 as a senior manager.
Really?
You know, people never knew that. People never know the fact that the 800, 900 pounds extra that comes from that job, actually. So when people in Enfield, for example, used to think this guy must be rolling in money or whatever he's doing, there's other stuff he's not telling us. That is a consistency of that. So it's finding that balance.
Balance, yeah. Good.
As professionals, I think one thing that I want to put out there for families is to remember that everybody's path is different. You know, we can now all come. I mean, I've lived here. I've lived in this country 25 years, and we can now sit down now and talk about lovely work-life balance. It didn't start like that. I mean, I've just told you now that I started off as a security officer in this country, and when I walk into, that's why no matter where I walk into, I've always got sympathy for somebody that is just starting. So if you're starting your life, work-life balance means something totally different to you.
But we have
That's a
to
good
also
one.
remember as well, work-life balance is very personalized to each person. If I love my job and I want to be at my job all the time, my work-life balance might be me going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, me spending extra time unpaid because I love my job, and I'm leaving the office at like 7, 8 o'clock, and I might be happy with that because that might be work-life balance to me. Some people might not like their job, so they might stick completely within the confines of the hours that are set. On top of that, they might say, oh, you're allowed to use 5 sick days, and will measure out when they can use their sick days because they don't want to be at work. Then they'll measure out their annual leave, and they'll measure out this and that. Like for some people, work-life balance is different because they just want to be at work. Some people just want to be at work, and that's where your priorities will then come in with your work-life balance.
But I think what's important, Anjo, to think about is it taking you away from your family? Because 9 out of 10 times people are driven by money. You see, something I'm now, like I said, I'm not a multimillionaire, but I think I'm wealthy enough. You know, I think something you suddenly discover is that all what you sacrificed for are things you don't even need. I can say that now. You know, when I was younger, or I'm still young, but a few years ago, I mean, another £1,000. I remember Millennium when in this country, when the Millennium Night and Tony Blair was giving £500 for us to walk that night. I was one of those people that actually was happy to do because Y2K, if you remember, they thought computers were going to shut down. I was one of those people that was happy to work on the Millennium Night to get £500. But I mean, you will have to put a gun to my head now for me to do £500 so a crossover night for what? What? In fact, I'm not saying £500 means nothing, but there's no value you put on anything than being with you, staying with my wife, being, you know. So it's the fact that we get driven by money.
Good.
We've got a culture that says you need X, Y, Z. Who says you need it? Who says you need that extra house? Who says?
Unfortunately, I'm going to sound old here, but I feel like with the globalization of the world, of like you can live in your house and see what other people, not even let alone in the other side of the country, but people all across the world are doing. I think once you see that and you can see what your life can be, you can almost is it lust? Lust isn't the right word, but when you're lusting after something, desire of what other people have, you let it creep into you and you let that run what you want for your life, which is a bit sad because some people will be perfectly happy with like a 2-3 bedroom house, 1 kid, 2 kids. You all have you have your space, you have your room, you go on holiday once a year. A lot of people would be happy with that, but the fact that you can now see that people are going on holiday 3 times a year, 4 times a year, it drives you to want better, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it comes at a cost of, yes, you want better and you want to like spend that 1 week away in like Turkey, but to spend that 1 week away in Turkey, you've probably taken quite a lot of time from seeing your kids or seeing your wife, and to some people it's worth it, to some people it isn't. It's really
finding what works. Thank you very much for that, sir, and all the contributions. So I'm going to put 2 questions together quickly. So now, since 2020 COVID era, we now have remote working issues, hybrid.
That's my life.
Whatever, yeah. So how do people find the right balance in that? Because sometimes I have people say that, oh, now I'm at home, I end up working more than when I was in the office. If I was in the office when I'm leaving or so, everything I'll shut down there. But now as I'm at home, I end up doing more work than home. Then also, how do employers look into this issue so that so that their workers are not struggling unnecessarily, or how do people negotiate a better working, what's the word, like say structure, or maybe I walk home to just what are your thoughts about those 2 points, if you don't mind?
I was going to get Anjo to start because you've only had post-COVID. I've had pre-COVID and post-COVID.
Okay.
So I'll let you just
go ahead.
I think the NHS, as good as and wonderful as it is, has at times relied a lot on the goodwill of its employees. And that means that people stay in a bit extra after work, people coming in a bit earlier, working through lunch breaks, etc. And I think thank God, my generation, we don't take that. If we want our half-hour break, we take our half-hour break. I think it comes with just putting your foot down. Like, I know it can be hard if it's just you, but if a group of you come together and say, we finish at 5, I'm contracted till 5, so I finish at 5, then your employees can't turn back and look at you and tell you that. It might be a bit optimistic of me, but to me, if I finish at 5, I finish at 5. I go home at 5. Unless like there's something very critical, like my job is slightly different, like because there's actual lives on the line at times. Then if there's actual lives on the line, then yeah, I would stay. But if it's not like that, I just put my foot down. You're paying me till 5 o'clock. When 5 o'clock hits, I'm going home.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Pre-COVID and post-COVID, and funny enough, listening to Anjo's generation is always interesting because this is a man that was tied to a desk for 14 years. I managed an office. I managed fast-paced local authority, and it was really, really fast-paced. And during those periods, one of the things I quickly learned is there was no closing time. I get to know my staffs. I know every of the registrars that worked for me. I knew the people that worked for those registrars. I know my managers. And that was because I was always in the office. You're front-facing. Your clients are your people that come through your door. So at a point, we are getting about 300,000 people walk through the registration service at each time. So I can't do that remote working. So you've got to be there physically. Babies were born every day. You can't remote register people.
Wow.
Or that was what we told ourselves. Everything I've told you now when I started, you go, oh, that's true. But that's a lie. Suddenly COVID came and we're all locked up and those things still happened.
Wow.
So the question is, how did they happen? It happened because men decided to have the ingenuity of man. We shifted our focus. I can't remember when last I walked into a banking hall.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Few years
Because they're all
ago,
shutting down now.
Yeah, a few years ago, you cannot do any banking in this country or all around the world without going into a bank. You don't need to go in there. So what COVID has done for us is reminded us that we do not need to work to live.
I think to add to that, if you look throughout the whole of human history, the most innovation comes from times of crisis. In World War II, before World War II, airplanes were barely flying about. People were doing all sorts of manner of, I don't know how people are surviving. And then all of a sudden, you need to decode. So you find a way to decode. You need to fly at supersonic speeds. So you fly at supersonic speeds. You need to create a massive weapon. You create the massive weapon. I think through disaster, we've been blessed with the knowledge to work our way out of that disaster.
That's good.
And I think even though COVID was horrible and people died, through that we've been able to make our lives more efficient. And we should not go back to the ways that things were before COVID, just because it could be we're comfortable with it. Like, we need to work with the times and continue to be efficient. Because if we can work from home, we work from home. And then if it's more efficient for everyone and you spend less money on transport and you're able to do things in your break time that you wouldn't have been able to do before, like, of course, not everything has been worked out properly. And with time, of course, things will be worked out when people work from home more often. Because now more jobs are being presented as hybrid, where you only go in 3 times a week or you go in 4 times a week. Like,
I looked at my tax return and I discovered that pre-COVID and post-COVID, my income is 4 times more than pre-COVID.
Okay.
And that's just basic management. I can do more from working. I've worked basically from my house. I manage like a fast-paced office also, but I'm able to do more physically. I'm able to do more for the local authority I work for. I'm able to take up other responsibilities on the side. That I can do this other side also that can come in. So, like Andrew, you're right. It's having that creativity. Human nature gives us creativity. The dinosaurs that would die are people that want to go back to the old ways. Because I'm sorry, you're not going to get any employee that wants to go back to that we used to work like donkeys in those days, where you drive 4 hours to go and do a 2 minutes job. Nobody wants to do that now.
Sorry, permit me to cut you short, sir. I wanted you to also touch on the other aspect of the point I mentioned earlier, because you said that you used to take them to work, and I want to believe that your boss, sister, and your employers were understanding. So how can people, they know, okay, that I'm struggling at work, or maybe they because I'm working from home, the work is becoming enormous, or I have to go into the office. How can people negotiate with their employers to get something favorable? Because I'm sure
managers,
some people. I remember when I used to drive. I used to have a logistic company that used to drive a van. So, and there was this particular job that I had to take, and they needed a second person. So I persuaded my wife, there's a pharmacist, to join me on the job. And for my wife to join me on the job, we had to come with our son at the time, and for my son to come on the job. So when I was taking the call, for the client, and the client the guy that was booking the job heard my boy just in between, just screamed. They're like, hang on. Oh, you have a baby in the car? He just cancelled the job. You get it? So I was not happy. I was so disappointed and all that. It's not to say that when we get into the client's place, I'm going to bring out my baby. My wife will just put the baby to the side. I just go in and we'll find a way to manage it. And sometimes you come to the job and the job is not even a 2-man job. You get it? So point I'm trying to say is that how can people be able to negotiate with their employers to get something favorable that will favor both their family and both the work,
That's a brilliant question. It's being transparent. You discover when you're very skilled, you actually, employees forget they actually dictate the terms of the agreement. Yes, they want you, but when you're so good at what you do, the people that want to pay you are not just paying, they're not just paying for your time, they're paying for you as a person. And if you're transparent, like a good example, I don't know how we managed to get into that, the idea of me bringing you to the registration service, I made the registration service realize that you can get more from me and my family if they are part and parcel of it. I'll give you an example. They didn't pay for that photo shoot for the entire brochure of the number of Enfield registration service that went out was free photo shoot for my children. So I brought my kids in, I didn't charge them anything, and they got to know. And it's not just me, the registrars that worked for me, they knew. Their families, I know everybody's family. So it's having that open conversation where we can actually discuss. I think the problem is this. We build barriers because we think we know what the other person won't like. But you've never asked the other person, if the person that cancelled your job, for example, if when he booked you, you said to him, I'm really sorry, I can't do this job because this X, Y, Z. And he doesn't have a choice. And he knows you're so good at what you do. He doesn't have a choice. He's got to bring you in. But because you didn't have that conversation with him before, when he had a baby, he then panicked. Most probably he's thinking, I don't want the child coming into the house or something. So I have discovered in the level of my work now that being open and forthright in conversation. I don't take a contract job now without discussing my terms, not just the money you're paying me. You don't pay me enough. I've just taken a job as senior lecturer and program lead for one of the biggest universities in the United Kingdom. But and one of the things that was discussed during that, my son was laughing when it came up for conversation, was they wanted to work me the same hours, 4 days. And I said, no, I'm not doing it for 4 days. I can do that job for 3 days. Why am I spending an extra day? Oh, that's what we do. And I'm not interested. They came back and had the negotiation with me, and we were able to sit down and say, okay, fine, I will be in your on campus the first day. I'm your program lead. If I don't trust myself to say to the people that are hiring me, the way you're doing it is not going to work for me, then why am I an advocate?
I get that.
So you need to be out there having a conversation. I don't care. I don't know who is listening to this today. Your employer needs you.
Good. Thank you.
You're not desperate.
Thank you for that, sir. Anjo, what are in your opinion, what healthy rest or relaxation habits should people have? Because a lot of people just want to keep at this work, and they don't even put that into consideration. And in addition to that, what other hobbies or what should people do, or if you can be more practical, outside of their work that can aid that balance?
So, talking from a medical background, everyone should exercise. And I can't stress how important it is that people exercise. That just, even if for half an hour, 40 minutes, just get out, walk about. I think a lot of the people that I see at work, right now I'm working in the ITU, a lot of the people that I see are just people that have unfortunately lived unhealthy lifestyles. And that some people would say that that's because work didn't allow them to. But there are active ways that you can go and live healthily. For example, some people might say, I have kids, they can't really do a lot. If you go for a walk with your kids on the weekend, once a week, that is a start. That is literally just a start. If you have more time, of course, gym memberships are expensive, but you can do other things. You can go for walks, you can go for runs. There are programs out there that you can do. Second of all, set aside time for you to actually be by yourself. You need to like have a down period, whether that's you praying, whether that's you, I don't know what people do. Some people like to listen to music. Some people just like to listen in silence. You need time by yourself to like de-stress and like kind of turn off. I think another thing is as well, diet. With diet, if you focus on, I think when people say they eat vegetables, they don't eat vegetables. I was having this discussion with my parents. Like when we say we eat vegetables, we don't eat enough vegetables. We need to eat more, better. And in eating better, in having a healthier lifestyle, you can allow yourself to not feel as much of the pressures, and you can probably be more productive with your day. The second part of your question, I can't remember.
I think the first one was on the importance of rest, and the second one was you've talked about it already on other things. So the importance of rest now.
So the importance of rest, like one thing that I learned, I think I was listening to the other day. I'm not sure how. I didn't do all the reading behind it, but staying up and shift pattern work, especially working through the night, it's detrimental for your health. But unfortunately, some people cannot avoid it. So to counteract that, you generally need to take time to rest to get your 6, 7, 8 hours. I think some people see life as a race rather than a marathon. And if you've ever forget a marathon, has anyone run a 10K or 5K? If you've ever tried sprinting the first kilometer and then realizing that my dad knows he does park run. If you ever try sprinting the first kilometer and then realize that you have 4 kilometers left, you'll be tired, you'll be burnt out. You genuinely have to pace yourself. You need to understand that you can't do everything at once. And it's something that I feel like I'm still learning. Like I've already just started working. Like there's so much I want to do. There's so many things that I feel like needs to be done now. But you have to genuinely pace yourself and set yourself the markers. You can't run a half an hour 5K without saying, okay, let me run 6-minute kilometers to get to that 30-minute 5K. I think the math is correct. I can't remember. But if you set yourself, okay, we're gonna run 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes. That will get you to your half an hour rather than running as fast as you can to get to that half an hour, then burning out halfway and not being able to manage the rest of the race.
Good. Thank you very much. So can you touch on that very quickly? The importance of rest and maybe activities the importance of why people need to create time to do other activities, it could be parties or anything.
I think for us as Africans especially, rest is the main thing we do as we talk about party. Because party for us is we go and eat and make noise and the same thing the same attitude we got towards rest. And for us, rest is a therapeutic thing. And I think for me personally, my rest is my Sunday. I go to church, and that's why no matter what happens in this church, it's my safe zone. I love being in my children will tell you, I love being in this church because that's where I find my comfort. That's why I find myself. So rest itself is not just sleeping. Rest is finding yourself in a place where you're not mentally exhausted in doing something you love to do.
Thank you.
So people have got this thing about, I want to rest, so I have to go and sleep. No, just switch off what you're doing. If you've got to do it for free, if they're not going to pay you to do it, and you enjoy doing it, that's your rest.
Good. Thank you for that, sir.
I have one more thing to say.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're going to actually take care of yourself, invest in a good bed, invest in a good chair.
Okay.
Like those are two things that I highly recommend.
Good.
A good bed will help you sleep better. A good chair, because especially if you're working from home, if you're sitting at desk, a good chair will help your back. It'll help your muscles, and also like even if you're sitting down all the time, please just stand up.
Good.
Like do a bunch.
Yeah, so just to follow up on what you just said now, what would be your advice for someone that just about to go into medical school, and how do you advise them to approach it towards now their work life that with the little you've done?
Medical school is a concentration of very smart people, and it can be very easy to start to think that you're not a smart person because you're there. I think the smartest people don't make it through med school. It's the people that understand what they're going to get out of it and what they want to do. And when you understand that, the whole concept of being smart like gets away from you. You don't need to worry about it. I wasn't the smartest person to make med school. My grades will tell you as much. I got ABB. I don't think I wasn't the smartest person there. I wasn't the smartest person in terms of grades. I think what got me through was I understood what I needed to do. And when I understood what I needed to do, I understood the active tips I could get to. I understood the things that I could do to get to where I needed to get to.
Good.
So first of all, I knew that I just had to make 1 year at a time. I can't focus on final year. I can just do 1 year at a time. I need to learn the things that they've taught me. And I know that so many people would get it straight away. Some people go into lectures and just absorb it straight away. It was just easier for me to like just take my time with it and just go through it slowly. I worked out what type of learning works best for me. Not everyone learns from writing stuff down. Some people like active recall, some people like mind maps, some people like people talking back to them. Some people learn through teaching. So you teaching someone else a topic will help you learn.
That's good.
There's so many different ways to learn. So I highly recommend that you learn the way that that works for you. And thirdly, like with med school, you're going to be doctors at the end of the day. There's no competition. You don't actively need to compete with anyone.
That's good. So just one last one. Well, very quickly, what would you advise? What would you advise yourself? You know, let's say I don't know what age. Maybe you'll be about 15ish when you're about to go into second university, right?
University.
Yeah. About what age would you? About
I was 18.
Okay, so what would you advise your 18-year-old self? So there's someone watching this, what would you do differently or make you better also at your 18-year-old towards work life?
What I'd advise?
Yeah, someone yourself thinking about your life 18 years ago. What would you have done differently to make it a lot better for you?
I think don't be scared to try a lot more things. There's a lot more things I probably could have tried while in uni. However, I was very lucky. I had like my grounding straight away because I found a church. It was very easy. Like my dad knows everyone. So he just found someone in my town and said, oh, look, I know this person and they go to a great church. So you go to that church.
Yeah, that's good.
But I feel like, especially if you're a Christian, like not just like set yourself in your church, be a part of your church.
Good.
And when you're a part of that church, there'll be so many people around you that can help you as well.
Good. It makes you more accountable.
Yeah.
Helps you make you a complete person. Thank you for that. So just may I ask this question? Say you came into the country today. What would you do differently that will help you, your wife, your children, to make you wealthy and all that? What would you do differently? Because I'm sure I'm sure we all say that.
I wish I knew that.
I wish I knew this. I wish I knew. What would that thing that someone can learn from?
I will tell you what I did right first before I tell you what I wish I did.
Good. By the way, this is my chairman here.
No.
I shouldn't share. I need to share, sir. It will inspire a lot of people because we had a guest on the podcast before, and he said he bought a house within the first year of coming into this country. You know. And I've had other guests, and they're like, "Wow, that they wish that could happen for them," you know. So, and on the back of that happening to him, his siblings are now following suit. Do you get it? So, and this man, Mr. Chris, that I respect so much, buys a house every 4 or 5 years. You know, a lot of people don't have that kind of target. Do you get it? People just come and they're relaxed and everything, and it's all about. I'm sure all the things you're sharing is because over time, you and your wife have been able to get into a point where these things that you have, the properties and whatever, is helping to reduce the pressures, and therefore you're giving more time to your family. I want to believe that. So back to the question is that, what would you have done differently? You can share what worked and what you'd have done differently.
I think the first thing that I was a born-again Christian when I came into this country. That really helped. I was blessed with a wonderful wife. She's not here, I wish she was. But one thing I did that was important, that I would say to every immigrant that comes into the United Kingdom, be careful of where you live, the area you live, the people you met the first time you came. You come into this country, they would define your path. Good. When I came into country, I was living in Edmonton. Edmonton it's not middle class, working class the way it is now. When I came into this country, and Edmonton was predominantly white, and you can count by head the amount of non-white people there. And by that very nature, we had to survive. And there is a different instinct. The houses I saw, the people I mixed with, the kind of expectation I set myself. You know, my understanding of living in the United Kingdom was not living in a rundown, broken down area, was living in Cockfosters. I wanted a 5-6 bedroom house I used to walk past.
You guys need to see the houses in Cockfosters.
I used to go to Cockfosters and say, these are human beings living here. So the place you live when you come will define quite a lot. The people you hang around.
Valid.
When you come into this country, if they're all, and there's nothing wrong in cleaning. I told you when we started, I did security. Funny enough, one part I don't share with people is, the first money I got from doing security went into doing a master's program, and everybody was laughing at me at the time. But I think that is important to remember. The place you live, the people you mix with when you come into this country, define how far you go. The advice you hear. For me, KICC, God bless Pastor Matthew Ashimolo, defined quite a lot of things. The houses, seminars. I actually left my first house. I think people that are close to me will know this. I left church after a seminar straight to the bank to talk to a broker. I went to HSBC. I didn't know anybody there. I just dragged my wife. We went there. That's how we bought our first house. You know, and that was from church. So the people you mix with, the people you talk to, what you hear. If you keep hearing what my children know, if you keep hearing it's not possible, or you keep seeing it's not possible, it's never going to be possible. So the people you mix with. So talking to me as an immigrant, if I come into this country, anything is possible.
Thank you for that, sir.
I think if anybody is going to take anything away from hearing us, is what we've done. We're just ordinary people. There is nothing extraordinary. We did not come from money. We have not had big money. We've never earned big money. I think the highest amount of money, I was saying to my son, the highest amount of money I ever earned before I went independent, earning salary, was £40,000 per annum. Never earned more than that. So when people say houses and they go, how did you do it? Unity in the family. If your family is not united, I don't care how much you earn. Husband is doing one thing, wife is doing another thing. So it's not going to work. So when you come into the country, the person that is, when you say to me, you had your wife who is a pharmacist in the van, I knew you were going to survive. Because anybody that needs to do well will need a family that you can all read from the same page.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, Angela, just a final words, very quickly. What are your just final thoughts about the whole work-life balance stuff?
About work-life balance. I think you're worth more than you think you are. So, since you are worth more than you think you are, you need to start acting as such. It doesn't mean that you become boastful and pompous, but like, you have value, so treat yourself as though you have value, then other people will treat you like you have value as well.
Good. Thank you for that. So how about you? Final words?
I agree with him. Don't judge yourself with other people's money. Your money is what you have today is enough for you for today.
Good.
You don't need what you dream about. You need what you have today.
Good.
What you have today. Today was a dream you had yesterday.
Good.
So tomorrow will come. Don't fret about it.
Thank you for
Otherwise,
that.
you won't enjoy it today.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much for having you guys. So how can people find you? I'm sure your social media.
Oh yes, Anjo is more active on social media, but I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
I've got I'm actually on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my biggest
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
LinkedIn. See this Nigerian. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is one of the I've got heavy presence there.
Okay.
Basically, that's just because of my job. I do Twitter. I stopped Twitter because it's just too.
So they could just search Christopher.
Christopher Ademuwagun.
Okay.
On LinkedIn. And
Good. How about you, Anjo?
My main one is Instagram, Anjo Ademuwagun,
Okay.
or
good.
LinkedIn.
Thank you very much for coming. We have a very busy schedule. So just as we wrap up, just want to encourage people the importance of, we've all heard it, and I pray that you guys will put the things that we've heard into practice, and hopefully that it will help your family for us to stay knitted together forever. Thank you very much for watching.
And thank you for inviting us. I
appreciate that.
It's important to say that because I remember when I met you and we started talking, I was inspired by you.
Oh, thank you. By me.
Honestly, and if you remember one thing I said, whatever I achieved in this country will become so insignificant to where you're going. And I really believe it. And I hope I'm going to play my own part in helping you to get to that.
You already did that, sir. Thank you.
You know, I really believe in you, and I know how much you give to young people. And please never stop that, because we all find joy in something.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and see you on the next one.
Thank you for having us.